Have you ever stopped and wondered if your private notes are, actually private? With data breaches happening all the time, how can you really be sure? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on end-to-end encryption, the tech that acts like a digital vault for your most important thoughts. Let's break it down. Now, you see a phrase like this, your thoughts, yours alone, and you might think, okay, that's just some nice marketing. But for platforms that use this technology, like MindDoc, it is way more than that. It's a technical guarantee. It's a promise that's literally built into the code, making sure that what you write is for your eyes only. So how on earth do they keep that promise? To really get our heads around this, let's use a simple analogy. I want you to forget about all the complicated code and algorithms for just a minute, and instead, just picture an unbreakable digital vault. That's really the core idea right there. Every single note you write is like a letter, but before it goes anywhere, you lock it inside this vault. And here's the absolute crucial part. You and only you have the key. Not your internet provider, not the company that made the app, nobody but you. This whole system has a name. It's called a zero-knowledge architecture, and it means exactly what it sounds like. The service provider is designed from the ground up to know nothing, literally zero, about what's inside your vault. So even if some super hacker managed to break into their servers, all they would find is a bunch of locked vaults that are impossible to open. It's just unreadable gibberish to them. So, what does this look like in action, step by step? Okay, first, you type your note. That's called plain text. Instantly, right there on your own device, before it even leaves your computer, your browser encrypts it, scrambling it into unreadable code. Only then is that scrambled version sent across the internet to be stored on a server. And when you want to read it again, that same scrambled text comes back to your device, which uses your unique key to unlock it. The biggest thing to remember here, your actual readable thoughts never leave your device. You might be thinking, how is this so seamless? Well, what's really cool is the tech that makes it all work. It uses a super secure standard that's built right into modern web browsers. That means all the heavy lifting, all the locking and unlocking, it all happens right there on your machine, quietly and invisibly in the background. Okay, so we've established we have this unbreakable vault, but what about the lock itself? I mean, just how strong is it? Well, we're talking about a standard called AES 256, and this isn't just pretty strong. This is the absolute gold standard. It's the same level of encryption that banks, militaries, and governments use to protect their most sensitive secrets. Right, we hear terms like bank-grade security thrown around all the time, but what does that actually mean? Let's try to wrap our heads around the truly mind-boggling scale of what we're talking about. The strength of any lock comes down to how many possible keys there are. For AES 256, that number is 2 to the power of 256. I mean, look at that. It's a number so ridiculously, colossally huge, it almost doesn't feel real. To put that into perspective, a trillion, which we already think of as a huge number, has 12 zeros. This number has 77. It's not just a little bigger, it's on a completely different plane of existence. It's just staggering. And this is where it gets truly wild. Scientists estimate there are about 10 to the power of 80 atoms in the entire observable universe. Now look at the number of possible keys for your notes. It's right up there with it, at 10 to the power of 77. We're talking about a number that is, quite literally, astronomical in scale. So what's the bottom line here? If you took every single supercomputer on planet Earth and you had them all working together from the Big Bang until today, they wouldn't even make a dent. Cracking this lock is, for all practical purposes, physically impossible. Now, having this almost God-tier level of security is amazing, but it does create a fundamental shift in responsibility. You see, with absolute privacy comes absolute ownership, and that ownership falls to you, the user. So let's see what that really means in practice. Okay, so this brings us to probably the single most important and most common question people have. We've all been there, right? We've all forgotten a password and clicked that forgot password link. What happens when you do that here? The simple answer is you can't. And I know that might sound a little scary at first, but stick with me because that no is actually the system's best feature. It's the ultimate proof that it all works. Think about it. If the company could reset your password, it would mean they have some kind of master key, a backdoor. And if they have a backdoor, your privacy is just an illusion. So it all boils down to this fundamental trade-off. With most apps you use, you trade a little bit of your privacy for the convenience of being able to research your password. With a true end-to-end encrypted system, you get absolutely impenetrable security, but it means you and only you hold the key. But that doesn't mean you're left completely stranded if you lose access. There are modern safety nets. You can protect your account with something called an internet identity. Think of it like a universal key that you control, not some company. Or you can set up what's called social recovery, where you pick a few trusted friends or family members who together can help you get back in. The power stays in your hands. All right, let's talk about the other big elephant in the room when it comes to privacy. What happens if a government agency shows up with a warrant and demands access to your data?
Well, because of that zero-knowledge principle we talked about, the company can only hand over what it has. And what it has is just a mountain of encrypted, unreadable gobbledygook. Without your key, which they do not have and can never get, that data is just digital noise. It's completely and utterly useless to anyone who gets their hands on it.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. Choosing this kind of privacy isn't just a feature you toggle on or off. It's a conscious choice. It's a decision to take full ownership and responsibility for your digital life, embracing both the incredible freedom and the personal responsibility that comes along with it. So as we wrap this up, it really all comes back to this one question. In a world where our personal data is bought and sold every single day, the very idea of a truly private space for your own thoughts feels kind of radical. The technology to build that vault, as we've seen, is here. So the only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. What is that kind of privacy, that kind of peace of mind, really worth?